Hi guys, so in today's video, I'd like to go through how to defeat the Alien Gambit. So the Alien Gambit is a response played against the Karakan for those of you guys who don't like to play the main line and instead resort to play knight f6. So it's an opening that's been favored by a lot, including some grandmasters. It is usually played in the shorter time formats as Blitz, Rapid, and Bullet because of how difficult it is to solve because of its tactical nature. So in today's video, I'd like to go through some lines and hopefully this can help increase your results against this opening. Let's get into it. Okay, so we get to the Alien Gambit after entering the Karakan. So after the sequence of moves and knight c3, we take, and after take. Now here is where we deviate. So after bishop f5, which is the main line, we instead play knight f6. And after knight g5, we go h6. And after knight takes f7 is where we start. So king takes f7, and here white has two moves, knight f3 and bishop c4. We're going to look at responses for both of them, but knight f3 is the more popular one, so that is what we will go through first. So after knight f3, my move is e6. c5 is stronger, as recommended by the engine, but I would like to go through e6 first, and then we'll go through c5. So after e6, we have bishop d3, and then c5. So after c5, we're attacking in the center of the board, and their response is c3. Another response that you might encounter is knight e5 check. So now, in this case, all we have to do is just care about her king, and here you might see a very interesting move being played, bishop g6. And it's nothing much to worry about. They are threatening to play bishop f7, check, and then queen d3, which is a mating attack. But it's very simple to get out of this, and all you have to do is just to play bishop e7. This move just creates some space for the king. We still have the d4 pawn under attack, so this is nothing to worry about. Right. In fact, we're doing pretty fine right here. Okay, so back to knight e5, and after knight e5 check, we just go king g8, and here you might see c3, and all we have to do right here so is just to take. After take, we just go knight c6. Please do not go queen takes d4. This is looks like a free pawn, but it's not a free pawn. Bishop h7, and if a king takes, you just lose your queen, so that's not a good move. So instead, after knight c6, we're fine right here. Right, the best move is in fact castles, and all we're going to do is just play bishop e7, and even after f4, we just play bishop e8. And this kind of looks weird, but it's perfectly fine. All we're just doing is just shoring up the spaces around our king, and we're going to have a good game shortly after that. So let's get back to the main line now. So after c5 and c3, we play knight c6, and after castles now, we just simply play takes, and after knight takes, after c takes, we just develop our bishop to d6, and after rook e1, we just carry our rook to f8. And here is now where it doesn't get tricky, but it gets tricky for white, because white cannot get into any attack without having to endanger his d4 pawn. So for example, if you see knight e5 check, we just have to play king g8, and after say h3, we can just take this pawn, and that's one more pawn we have. And this is very winning for us. This is now -3, so this just means that we're up a full piece, and we're supposed to have a good game from right here. Alright, so let's take it back from here, and after knight f3, so instead of playing e6 now, we're going to look at c5. So after c5, white has two moves right here. They have bishop d3 and bishop c4. So let's look at bishop d3 first. After this, we just play knight c6, And after knight e5 check, we just play king g8. And after castles, we just play takes. And after knight g6, it looks like we're going to lose rook in the corner, but we're okay with that. Right here, in fact, is not really a good position for him to take our rook. For example, can play c4 next, and after, say, bishop e2 or so, we're just going to trade off. And this is, in fact, very fine for us. We have no problem giving up the rook in the corner. We're going to have two pieces for our rook. So this will be a good position to play on in. Instead of knight e5, however, you might see castles. And after bishop g4, which is the advantage of not playing e6, we now have h3. After bishop takes, queen takes, we just play e6, rook e1, queen d5 right here. And here, white only has one good move, which is bishop e4. Any other move, for example, queen g3, we just play g5. And now we are actually the ones who are attacking. And if he's supposed to play like queen e2, we just respond with knight takes d4. So after bishop e4, we just queen d7. And now white is going to have to trade some things. So takes, and here we are doing very fine. Now we can just get our king to safety once again, and we're just going to enjoy our being up the pieces. A move that you might see is bishop c4. And here once again, this is we just play e6, and after, say, queen e2, now all we have to do is just play takes. And after bishop d2, which there is really anything much for white, we just play knight c6, and we're fine right here. However, not if instead of queen e2 you have knight e5. We just go back to king here, and this is basically transposing the things that we already go through. So let's just run through some moves. We've seen these already. And after takes right here, right, they have to trade. Like, if after right here, there is no better move than to trade. Other than that, you're going to give up one more pawn, and this is not very good. So yeah, after queen takes, rook takes, and then we just play king h7 here. After knight takes, king takes, bishop e3, we now have two pieces for the rook. And it's very simple after, right? Well, not very simple, but it's easy to play. I mean, at the start of the game, I'm sure you take two pieces for a rook any day of the week. So this is a nice position to be in. And after this, all we have to do now is just develop our pieces regularly. We might want to protect this e6 pawn right here. And moves that I'll suggest to you, possibly like b6, try to finish with this bishop, but that means I would also want to defend this e6 pawn. So probably we'll get our king here. And yeah, just moves like that. You know, probably try to get the rook to d8 or bishop out, and we'll be fine. So yeah, that's about it for that line. So yeah, back to the starting. So now let's look at, say, for example, instead of knight f3, we see bishop c4. So there's a slight difference, but it's something that might surprise you, and you don't necessarily want to be surprised. So in this line, we just have to play bishop e6. And right here, I really do like this line. I have never encountered it in any games, but if this was supposed to happen, I really do like this, because it seems like your king shouldn't be out there, but your king is perfectly fine, and there's nothing much to worry about. So let's just look at this line first. So king takes, and you'd have like queen e2, and we just care about our king, and knight f3, and queen d5. The good thing about this one is that we have no light square bishop to worry about. We can freely play e6 at any time, and we don't have to worry about our bishop in the corner. And we also don't have to worry about anything along this diagonal right here. So this is like, it's very nice for us. Some moves might continue like knight e5 check with a skybar hurricane. These are all stuff that we know already. Castles, and we just develop. And we might see about this knight g6 move again. But instead of giving up the rook this time, we don't necessarily need to do so. We can just go rook h7. And if knight f4, right, the knight has no more use down there. We just play like this. We just offer a trade. Because we have material, so why not? And see after queen c4, knight d5 is a nice move to defend against that check. And say after f3, we just carry back our queen to f5. And say rook e1 getting more pieces into the game, we just play g5. And knight e6 now, and we play rook f7. And this position is very fine. Like, this is like one of the best positions. And yeah, this is about it. So if we go back up, we just have two more lines to check. And say instead we see bishop d3, we just have to play c5. The ideas are very simple. We just keep attacking in the center and trying to trade off pieces. We already have material, so that's all we have to do. And yeah, we just have to follow those principles. Try not to get into too aggressive openings and just focus on getting out our pieces. We don't necessarily have to look to gain more material because we already have material. So say after knight f3, we just play knight c6, and after takes right here, because there's nothing much better to do, we have queen a5 check, bishop e2 and just takes, and yeah, this is fine. And if you're supposed to see knight f3 in this position, we're just going to play bishop here. Knight f3 is just, it's not necessarily a waste move, but knight e5, king g8, knight takes, and after queen d5, queen b5 is a good move right here. If you think like c4 is playable, all we have to do is just play queen d4 check, and now they have to either lose more material or they have to trade off their queens. Another move right here so that we could play is queen h5 as well. So queen h5 is also a good move that we could play. And yeah, we're doing fine right here. So that's about it. So yeah. So thanks guys for watching that video. Hope you enjoyed it and hope it's insightful. I hope in the future when you play against the Alien Gambit, you'll do better knowing this now. That's all. Stay tuned. Till next time. Bye bye.